Hello and welcome to Sports Opinion, the weekly sports talk show on Channel 18. That is public access TV. My name is Dirk Keller. We've got a very special guest here today. Pat White is here.
I don't know how special, but it's
We always feel
back.
privileged when you join us, Pat. You are a wealth of information, a fountain of knowledge, a big supporter of the Iowa women's basketball team.
That's enough.
What, am I not moderating too moderately?
Pat White.
Bud Supple is back, and Earl Murphy. Earl the Pearl is here, and we are back to talk. And sorry that we missed our show last week. It wasn't that we didn't want to talk about the Hawkeye football team, because we did. We just had some extenuating circumstances that took me out of town, and Bob Boyd is on vacation. And so we ran the Lisa Bluter show again. And good timing, because the women's basketball team kicks off their schedule on Sunday of this week, along with the men. And we're going to get to that pretty soon, but we thought we'd talk about Hawkeye football and then a little high school football first. So, without further ado, we have two individuals who were at the game last week at Northwestern. Pat?
It was cold.
It was cold.
You know, it wouldn't have been so bad, but there was this wind coming out of the north at about 20, 25 miles an hour.
Right over the lake.
There's not a lot of buildings to the north to hold it off, although it looked a little bit. I didn't get over there. Like Northwestern has built a new indoor practice, new football practice.
Yeah, I didn't see
Really?
Yeah, right beside the basketball arena. It was a long afternoon.
Where did you sit?
I sat on the east side, the opposite, toward the south end of the east side.
Okay.
Had the best seats we'd ever had, with all due respect to Pam Fink and her cohort's ticket office. We messed up our order and ended up going through StubHub to get tickets, and they were great seats, 38 rows up between the 5 and 10 yard line. There were 7 of us sitting together, and so that's a little bit unusual purchase.
No, good.
The highlight of the game for me, this is true mostly always at Northwestern because we haven't done well there, is Mustard's last stand. Yes. I get a hot dog going into the game and one going back to the car.
Same style each time?
Oh, yeah.
Chicago style?
Poppy seed roll, celery salt over the top at the end.
Which really makes a difference.
It does.
I love
I've
celery.
been parking there for 15 years. I was, just as you go in, our spot was right there. He really take care of the Iowa fan.
Yeah, they do a good business. The one that I go to it's on the east side of the stadium, and it's just a little street.
Yep.
But
I see.
They have a
that's where
more
I go.
permanent facility on the west side.
On the west side.
And they've been trying to buy that from him. He just every year they raise it another 5,000. And all the coaches come over there. John Street come over there. Well, while the guys are getting dressed or something, and Bernie Wyatt, that's his favorite place there. I mean, that's really old-fashioned.
Oh, yeah. It's just pretty much a streetcar, isn't it?
No, it's a regular restaurant. I mean, they're 12, 15.
Not a cart. I mean, like an old, isn't it pretty much the old-style diner?
Yeah, right. That's what it is, old-style diner.
Yeah, not much room.
And then in the back, he rents it out to a tavern from the Loop, where all the Iowa people come when Iowa plays.
Oh, I didn't know
to
that.
his tavern. So he bought them a treat and bust them all up there. We must have had 1,000 people around there.
Wow.
The other non-game reminder, it didn't take long to remember, the bowels of Ryan Field, the stadium, are just terrible. It's narrow and you can't move around.
Big girders everywhere.
It's
a high school stadium on that
worse.
side. Yeah. Bathrooms aren't adequate at all.
Right.
But what are you going to do when they have a winning team, 7 wins,
they
and
had
you still have 15,000 seats in it?
They had a decent crowd there Saturday.
Well, but it's still not filled.
I didn't ever see the number, but like 7 minutes before the game, I looked around and thought, oh, this is a terrible attendance, and then it filled in, although there were people still coming in front of us halfway through the second quarter.
Yeah.
It didn't rain.
What the heck are these
It didn't
folks
rain
doing?
that did it?
No, not this time. But 2 years ago, it did rain.
Rain hard, yeah. That's,
There's one other interesting non-game story to me. Their athletic director is a guy by the name of Jim Phillips. And he is always, there's a blow-up tunnel where they come out. The Northwestern comes out at the north end. And during every timeout, they have some sort of old promotion, and he's out there in his shirt sleeves, as cold as it was Saturday. I don't know, he must have had steel underwear on. Got a white shirt, tie, slacks, and he comes over and greets people, and they do promotions over the public address. 2 years ago, when it did rain, he's the same way. He's standing out there in his shirt sleeves. It rained the whole game.
Tough guy.
And we're all huddled down in our gear.
They're giving something out every time out.
How was the score? Has it improved at all?
Yes.
Yeah?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, well, ours, we had the big screen down
You're
in
at the scoreboard at the big end, but when the sun is low, as it is in the fall, you can't see any of the video they show.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Can't read
Well,
any
we were
of the
right by it,
statistics.
so I could see it pretty good every time.
And I didn't hear Kirk make this excuse, but I think that may have been the sun on the 45-second clock may have had something to do with one, but not only one, because the other two were going the other way of our delay of game penalties, which
We
are
had too many.
really inexcusable. 3 of them for a fifth-year senior quarterback.
And one of them in the hurry-up offense,
Yeah,
2-minute
one of
drill.
them was when we still had a shot, albeit an
Yep.
outside shot. Touchdown, 2-point conversion, and a field goal would have tied the game. And Vandenberg.
But I always wondered why he didn't go for the field goal
After the penalty?
No, yeah,
No.
before.
before.
No,
Well,
either
And then
before or
of
after.
chance
course,
and all
yeah, that's
for the
right.
touchdown. But it's easy to say that.
Kirk's explanation was, we're moving the ball better than we have all day, and
Yep.
we thought we had a better chance to get a touchdown than we'd had all day. Our 2 touchdowns were on quarterback sneaks.
I think he's right, though. I think they were finally moving the ball. Don't stop the momentum. You got it going.
Well, see,
Didn't work
he's
out.
got a different look at the game than I did. I was happy with the game.
You were happy with that game?
100% over the Penn State game.
That's debatable.
Our biggest mistake is letting a team get ahead.
But let me just point out,
I agree with that we've improved because this time we got more yards rushing than we did
Yeah.
first downs,
Yeah.
which we didn't do against Penn State.
well, Penn State torched us in passing yards. Northwestern torched Iowa in rushing yards.
All right.
And here's just a few numbers. Northwestern had 349 yards rushing, despite having 19 fewer plays than Iowa.
Yeah.
They were long
Yeah.
runs.
Well, that one long run, but Kane Coulter just killed us.
Yep.
I mean, our defensive ends got burned time after time after time by Coulter holding the ball or faking a handoff or faking into the line himself and then going around the end when our ends are looking around.
Yep.
They're staying him, and he's going around him. He's a great athlete.
We didn't look well prepared for Northwestern, I thought.
No, I think we went after. We're going to go after the passing.
Well, you know, one of the things that I think happened is Northwestern's used 2 quarterbacks all year, and against us, basically Simeon only got in for a couple plays.
Good
Coulter
point.
played the whole game, and I think we were half prepared for a different game than they gave us.
I do too.
I think they're scratched where it itched.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
know, they found Kane Coulter workable.
What happened on that long run at the ball on the 1 yard line? And they ran right up the middle.
Well,
and the middle linebacker there.
Morris got sucked
He went to
to the left.
Yeah,
And
left it wide open.
And just-
and they were holding on that play.
There was all
Well,
kinds of
they
holding.
held up quite a bit.
And
Yeah, but from our standpoint, that was actually one of our most plays. That Micah
Micah
Hyde
Hyde.
chased this guy
Oh,
down.
yeah.
could you believe it sitting there
I
in the
couldn't.
stands?
When I saw him break through the line, he had Bud's in.
Oh,
He was coming toward me. I thought it was a touchdown.
thought he was gone.
When he got to the 10 or 15 yard line,
And he was about 15 yards behind him when he started
Yeah.
moving. You know, just
It was really neat to see it on TV because I wasn't sure who it was, but I assumed it had to be Micah Hyde.
yeah.
And he just closed on him and took him
it
down.
was him.
And that's not any ordinary runner breaking away.
Micah Hyde also, the play before that, made an incredible play to down the ball at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
On the punt.
That was him?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
That
Amazing.
didn't help either.
I mean, I thought we were all excited about
Well, that's
having
what-
him
oh,
get in
I
there.
know.
Yeah.
I really was looking
And just
for
broke our hearts in a second.
Yeah, you said the ends didn't play well. I noticed that this Ott, the kid from Nebraska,
freshman.
the true freshman.
He said he's playing now.
Yeah, they put him in at defensive end in the fourth quarter, which surprised me. When he first went in, I'm trying to figure out who this number 95 is. I didn't have a program with me because I'd not seen him before. Then he came out and it was down toward my end, and my eyes I need new glasses. I could tell his name was 3 or 4 letters, but I still couldn't make it out. My brother-in-law told me it looked like he's only listed at 245 pounds, which is a little small. But Gaglione had just been hurt. Is when they sent him in. It's kind of a surprise that, it's the 8th game of the year.
Yeah.
It's kind of
True
late
freshman.
to burn a
Yeah.
redshirt year, and whether to use a redshirt year is a real question. I still think it was a mistake to play Fedorowicz as a redshirt freshman, although at the time I wasn't sad. Everybody was looking forward to seeing him. His development has been pretty slow.
Imagine if Tim Dwight had had another year.
Yeah.
I still think Hayden shouldn't have burned his redshirt freshman.
But
Well, it's easy to say that, but when you start running out of players, you have to do
We
something.
said it back then, though. That was not a great team his freshman year. And yeah, they needed him, but he could have
Well, I mean,
benefited
this
from an
year,
extra
we've
year.
got so many people.
Yeah.
I think
That's what I
Otto
don't understand.
eventually be a good ball, but very long till he got burned just exactly the same way that
Yep.
all the other defensive ends had by charging in, and Kane Calder was running around him for first down.
But those guys practice just as much as the guys that are playing.
Sure.
It's getting
Well-
late enough in the season.
They practice in a different way, but if you're not on the 2 deep, you're just not getting as many repetitions with a live
Okay.
ball or a scrimmage. If you're not on the 2 deep, you're doing more lifting during the week than the guys who
Okay,
are
I
on the
didn't
2
know
deep.
that.
So
Okay.
by moving him, taking the red shirt off, and assuming he's now a second string defensive end, depending on Gaglione's injury, his practice regime will change. He'll get more scrimmage time,
Oh, yeah.
less lifting, more game preparation. So we'll see.
Well, and it was nice to have Damon Bullock back in at running back.
It was very nice. He looked good.
He did a good
Yes,
job.
he,
and-
he cut nice.
And he does a good job of separation on receiving. He runs patterns, and over the middle, he's getting open.
He does a good job on the cutback runs, too. And that's really kind of the key to our Hawkeye running scheme. It's a lot of either misdirection or cutbacks. And he did a great job, just like Mark Weissman has done, following that
Did he
scheme.
get hurt again?
Weissman got hurt again.
Weissman
not
did.
play.
Kirk he got hurt in would have been the second quarter, I believe.
Yep. It looked to be upper leg.
And didn't come back. Kirk has adopted a much less open injury policy this year. He really doesn't tell you anything, and there are pros and cons to that. We all want to know specifics, but other
That's right.
teams do too, and he doesn't ever tell them. But when he was on the ground, they weren't tending to anything on his leg. Now, Kirk has described it as a leg injury, which could mean he's re-aggravated the ankle, could mean he's got a bruise, could mean he pulled a hamstring.
It
But-
looked like when he got tackled on that play, and they showed one replay on TV, he twisted his leg after he had been grabbed. It looked like he twisted in an opposite direction of the way his body was going. And when he went down, I remember thinking in live action, I thought, oh, that didn't look right. And then he just laid there. And you're right, they never did
No.
appear to address.
No, they set him up, and he seemed to be where I thought he might have got the wind knocked out of him because they set him up, and it seemed like they were
Well,
working.
that's
up in
what we
there.
thought too.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just the wind knocked out, but it was obviously more. Now, at his press conference on Tuesday, Kirk said probably wasn't going to play against Indiana, but we're hoping to have him back the following week. So
Yeah.
certainly not a season-ending injury.
But then I did see him on the sideline, and he was limping.
Oh, was he?
He was limping.
Did he have anything wrapped?
Not that I could see.
No. Well, it doesn't look like Mark Weissman will be back this week at Indiana, but
Wouldn't it be nice if we could have two of them at the same time?
well, we can dream. We can dream. I mean, if Damon Bullock hadn't gotten hurt, about Mark Weissman
No.
and his ability, and Mark Weissman hadn't got hurt, we wouldn't maybe necessarily know what Greg Garman could do, or now Damon Bullock. And
Well, I don't think we yet know what Garmin can do. And he didn't play Saturday.
not at all.
And what was the reason behind that, would you say?
Well, he had two guys ahead of him, and Jordan Cotton has done so well on the kickoffs that, in effect,
Okay.
he's bumped Garmin out of that spot. And along about the third or fourth game, they decided to quit using Keenan Davis on kickoffs, which I think was a wise decision because that was not a strength of Keenan's running back kickoffs.
He dropped the first two passes that were thrown to him.
How'd that look to you guys live at the
Looked like
stadium?
he dropped it on purpose.
Looked like it was very disappointing. And
That,
That's what it
and
is.
Vandenberg gets,
Kids a hell for it.
I don't understand it.
well, he also, the play he got injured on, it looked to me like he caught the ball pretty well, and then when he got drilled, he lost it. And I was kind of worried that they were going to call that a fumble and give the ball to Northwestern, but they called it an incomplete
Yeah.
pass.
But they could have called. I thought it was the same way. I thought it was
Yeah.
a fumble.
I mean, he got hit very hard. Now, again, in his press conference, Kirk said he has a hand injury, which I thought, well, that sounds...
Good for a receiver,
No, it's not good for a receiver.
especially one who drops passes.
But I assumed he got dinged.
That's not the only passes that were dropped.
Nope.
No.
I would say that 6 drop balls.
There were drops, but there were also throws that were into the ground or at
Yeah.
the shoelaces.
Again,
Vandenberg,
You know, on one of that plays, it looks like that he was thrown to a spot, and the guy overran it, and he started to come for it.
See, that's what I think. I don't think our guys are making their spots
I don't.
because he's never been that far off as he's been this year.
this is very amateur psychology, but I wonder if he's not overcompensating for the Jake Knott interception against Iowa State. The
oh really?
ball up in the air that got tipped, intercepted, and ended the game
You might be right.
by trying to keep the ball lower where only our guys can get it, and as a
But
result, he's
that
throwing.
last game that we had the ball, that was a spot play, and our guy didn't come back after.
You're talking Iowa State game?
No, I'm
No,
talking about
Saturday.
Yeah.
the last
Northwestern.
play of the game, right?
But that
That
was
was a spot
also,
play.
also an example of one of the failings that he's had, I think, all year. Bullock was open in the middle, pretty close to the marker. If he'd have seen Bullock and hit him, we probably would get a first and keep the ball.
See,
moving.
that's what it,
I mean, we was still a very long shot
Yeah,
to win.
yeah.
We were down
That's
to
right.
like a minute and 30 seconds and
I
still
agree
needed
with
10
100%.
points.
It looks like once they call a play, it's gonna be that play, and they don't look.
Well, but when you call a play at this level, on a pass play, you have options.
Yes.
You've got 1, 2, 3, or A, B, C, and
Or 5.
and yeah, and we just don't seem to
No.
be able to look off the first or choice and find that third or fourth choice, and that's what frustrates a lot of fans. They see the open receiver downfield or the two open receivers.
At the beginning of the season, how many games were we supposed to win?
Well, I don't know that you
I picked 8.
ever know
Yeah.
supposed to, but conventional wisdom was at least 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Now, we've got 4.
Yeah.
If we beat Iowa State, which we should have,
Yes.
we beat Central Michigan, which we should have,
Right.
Yeah.
and we're bowl eligible. And we should be there.
Yeah.
And we thought after the Central Michigan loss, that was the motivator. They came back from that, go on the road and win at Michigan State. An impressive
Boy, that's tough to
win.
do.
Not necessarily an impressively played game,
Not as tough as we thought it was at the time. Michigan
Right.
State's really struggling.
but look what they did at Madison
Yeah.
last week.
No, absolutely.
Michigan State's got to be kicking themselves for the loss to Iowa at home.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on in the Big Ten.
Yes.
Again, look at Wisconsin. They don't lose at home too much. They're not the same
Well, Michigan
team.
State, they've lost twice at home,
Yeah.
back to back.
Who,
Ohio State, I think, beat them first than us.
Yep.
You know, who I think deserved a lot of credit for the game Saturday in a loss is Matt Tobin, who, faced with an injury to Sheriff, moves out to left tackle. Well, he's played guard
And that's a tough
for
position.
years. He moves out to left tackle, which is probably the most important offensive line position. I think
The
he did a
quarterback
nice
thinks he is.
job.
Yeah, that's what I've read. When you watch it on TV, you can't focus on the line play too much. But yeah, everything I've read says that Tobin's done all right.
But and I think Brett Van Sloten's had a nice year. He's starting at right tackle all year long. I think he's done a decent job. And I think we have the best center in the conference.
yes.
James Ferentz is absolutely the best center in the Big Ten.
Well, they're heading into Indiana this weekend for a 2:30 game on the Big Ten Network. Indiana is giving up 29 points a game.
Boy, if we get 29, I'll be thrilled.
Same here. We need 29, I think, to beat Indiana. They played well of late. They went up. They beat Illinois at Illinois last week. They've been close in many of them. They should have. They were the better team. They were the better team that day.
That's
And
right.
they just, I don't know.
I have felt ever since they hired Kevin Wilson that they would get there, that their days of being the doormat of the Big Ten were over. That
Where did he come from?
Oklahoma.
That's
He was Bob Stoops' offensive
That's
coordinator.
right.
He's a very, very able, well-spoken, great guy. And I think it's just going to be another year or two till he's got some more houses.
Well, he's already gotten
Yeah, he
the Indiana kid,
took
the
our
high school
best
kid.
recruit.
Yeah. He got him to decommit from Iowa.
That's an aberrant situation.
Yeah. I mean,
He hired his father to be
Yeah,
a coach.
I
Yeah.
can see that.
Well, Indiana, believe it or not, if they beat Iowa, has the inside track
That is
for the
hard to-
Big Ten title
That
game.
is hard to believe.
It's hard to believe, but they go after. Okay, next week, Wisconsin comes to Indiana. They've got back-to-back home games, Iowa and Wisconsin. And then they finish the season at Penn State. And
They're going to have trouble.
Oh, sure, they will. I forget who their other opponent is on the road. Penn State and somebody else. I can't remember. Oh, Purdue. Purdue.
Last
We
game
win
of the
our
year.
next four, we got a chance to go to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, the thing that
And it's
concerns
not impossible.
Oh, I know. What's
not
the
very
standings
likely.
on the Michigan
Get
guy?
out the trick plays.
Is he out?
Denard Robinson.
Yeah.
I haven't heard.
Brady Hoke says that he'll play this week.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well,
He
It
got
made a
some sort
difference.
of, he's described, now, he's given out more information than Kirk would ever get out, but he describes it as a nerve injury to his arm, which he had once earlier in the year, and that he'll by next
like a stinger.
Yeah. But not in the shoulder, someplace else in the arm.
Like a sticker.
I mean, he didn't, standing on the sidelines wearing a jacket, he didn't look like it was just a nerve
Yes.
injury. He looked like he had been rocked.
Yeah.
And he looks like he get hurt every play. Just
The way he gets up afterwards.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
He can run. Did any of you see the journey on the Big Ten Network in the last week or so? They did a piece on Kinker.
No.
no.
Well, we're talking about recruiting. He had verbally committed to Stanford. There are all sorts of senior pictures of him in Stanford sweaters and sweatshirts and
Really?
caps. And his dad says, who also was a football player, that he got injured when he was a senior in high school. He's from Denver. And Stanford, which would have been,
Bob Bozeman.
no,
Oh, Niners coach.
49ers coach.
Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh, told him that they didn't want him as a quarterback anymore. So he said, okay, well, let's call Coach Fitzgerald and see if he needs a quarterback. And they changed their minds, signed, and went to Northwestern.
I'll be darned. I didn't know that. That Journey's a good program.
It really is.
I like the piece they did on
I
Mark
never can
Weissman.
figure out when it's on, but
Me either.
I think they do a
Yeah,
nice.
that
What are
was
they?
a good one.
Yeah, they did a piece on Mark Weissman about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
And that was good. Really good. And it seems like everything they do is pretty touching. I like it. I just, like you said, Pat, I never know when it's on. So you just have to be lucky to catch it, I guess.
Now that we've been losing, I have been watching.
I'll tell you somebody who didn't get lucky this week was West High football. Monday night at home against Cedar Rapids Prairie, a team beaten decisively in week 4 of this season. The team they beat decisively beat them decisively. It was really quite shocking.
But like you mentioned, and I've heard this from several people, they have one hell of a quarterback that
Prairie.
they didn't have the first game.
Yeah, kid's name
And
is
this is how they
Jace
got there.
Hanna, and he didn't play the first time they got together.
Right.
And I can't find out if he was injured. We're all assuming he.
And then they come back and they've been winning the last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, they've been doing very well. New coach.
And this is the school that Marv Cook turned down.
No, Jefferson.
He.
Kevin Miller turned down.
Oh,
Yeah, Miller
okay.
turned that.
You're right. You're right.
Marv turned down Jefferson.
That's
I know
right.
why he turned down Jefferson.
Well, because they stink.
No, he just feels he has to go out and apply for it if he wants to go on with his coaching career.
Well, Prairie played. Does anybody know?
Xavier.
Oh, they play Xavier.
Yeah.
And did they
Xavier
play
is
each
real
other
tough.
this year?
Xavier beat him.
Because Xavier's undefeated.
Yes. Xavier's beating everybody.
Yeah.
They look pretty darn good.
Yes.
Well, we'll see. That'll be Friday at Xavier, I suppose, eh?
No, I think Kingston Stadium.
Oh, Kingston.
I think.
Huh. Okay.
But I guess I don't know, but the state's going to go where they can get the most people.
I've never been to Xavier.
They got a new
They've
field,
got a
but it's
nice,
not.
nice facility.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's not as big as Kingston.
No,
No.
Nobody, yeah.
but I'm guessing that's why I'm guessing. I know all the games of playoffs down in Devonport's in their stadium,
Oh, Brady Street.
Brady Street.
Yeah. Well,
Well, West fumbled a lot.
7 turnovers in that game.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference in
But why did
football
they
at
fumble?
any level.
Did they fumble all year long?
I don't
or
know.
what, did it just
No, I
happen?
don't. I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know. But
I mean, I just could not believe that when they gave the score up.
anytime you turn the ball over, I think I read 7.
Yeah, I did.
That's pretty tough to win.
Yeah, you don't win turning it over 7
Yeah,
times. Plain and simple.
seven.
Was
Give
it,
up 7
uh,
possessions.
Well,
Interceptions too.
Yep. Yep. I think the last play of the game for West was an interception. I could be wrong. It might have been a fumble, but yeah. The last play of the game was a turnover for West High. Really stunned everybody. We just didn't see that coming, but we don't know the
No,
ins
we
and
sure
outs
didn't.
of high school football.
And I assumed we'd see them in the Dome,
Yeah,
yeah, I figured
at least
that
in the
too.
semifinals,
Right.
if not the finals.
right.
I think we would have.
And Cedar Falls didn't make the dome this year. They played Mount Pleasant or Pleasant.
Pleasant Valley.
Yeah, Pleasant Valley.
Yeah,
They have to get out of the dome.
right.
This will be the first game they're out of the
They out
dome.
of
Yeah, they have to go over to play.
Well, the 3 of us went to the Regina game against West Branch Monday night. That was a humdinger. Bud, you said it was the second biggest crowd they've ever had for a Regina football
Since
game.
the Solon, the grand opening of the stadium and everything.
Yeah.
West Branch brought a lot of people. I don't know who's back in West Branch.
They even had their band there.
They had their band there. They had the
They can't play on the field though, can they?
no.
No.
They had the gate or along the fence all filled up over. Now I don't know, but I'd almost bet that they had more fans there than we did.
Oh, no way.
You don't think so?
No
Well,
way.
There's a lot of people over there.
That's a small grandstand on the visitors' side. And yes, they had people on the field level.
Well, then they put up 2 extra sections of bleachers,
Yeah.
pretty close.
Well, there were a lot of people
Now,
there.
I took tickets, and they bought all the tickets because the schools sold tickets during the day, so we didn't have all the Regina people buying tickets.
Yeah,
Oh, where is their game Friday? Is it here?
at Regina. Yep.
They got a different floor mat this year, and if you're seated one and the whole thing, you
Right.
get all the home ones.
Well,
Where before you had to take turns Butch was mad about that.
Butch Peterson's mad about everything.
Yeah.
And he almost, as you said,
They're
got
gonna get
another
calls
penalty. That's all right, bring him on. Butch almost got another sideline unsportsmanlike.
Just
Friday.
a warning.
Yeah, he got a warning. But it was early in the game. And the referees, like Bud said, what did they tell him?
Well, the referees, first of all, were from Des Moines.
Really?
And, yeah, I
That's a
don't
long
understand
ways
all
to-
that stuff.
Yeah.
But you come out of Des Moines, you do pretty big games.
Yeah.
Dowling and
Yeah.
all the big
Yep.
schools around there. And these guys, according to referees I was standing by, they will not take any crap off either side. And sure enough, by that time they're over there.
It was quick in the
Yeah,
game.
it was
Boom.
quick in the
Warning. And they announced
I
it.
wonder what he said.
He
Probably complain about a hole,
Yeah.
something.
I'm talking about that.
he probably said something to the referees about, what are you, Catholic or something? Oh, here come the phone calls now. I thought overall, after the first quarter, that there was a whole lot of good sportsmanship unlike the first game. First quarter, there was a dual unsportsmanlike conduct flag on both teams. And then you had that sideline warning. And then after that, you saw players helping their opponents up on almost every play.
Yeah, Virginia couldn't afford to. They were just kicking them.
Yeah.
They got, West Branch got 9 points, and that was it.
Yep. I thought the game started out almost identical to the one where in West Branch, they dominated the first quarter, and then Regina took control in the second quarter and had a lead at halftime. And then when the third quarter started, it looked like it was going to be, again, just like the game before. Regina was in command, but this time there was no chance for West Branch to get back in it like earlier. Bottom line is Regina's defensive and offensive line just laid wood to West Branch.
Just 2 first downs in 3 quarters. Second, third, and fourth. They only got 2.
And I'll tell you, start of the second quarter, early second quarter, we were worried. It did not look like the same Regina team.
9-0 is about like Iowa getting.
West Branch came out like a ball of fire. Their running backs were hitting that line of scrimmage with a full head of steam, and they were blowing holes, and we thought, wow, this is trouble. And then, as I don't know, one of you said, took over. Jason Dumont, former Hawkeye. Marv Cook, former Hawkeye.
I'm sure Jason took care of a lot of that stuff at
Yeah.
halftime.
Well, I think they took care of it before halftime.
Yeah, but I think they put on a little more
Yeah.
because actually, what was 2 minutes left till half is when we went ahead.
Yeah, it was 14 to 9.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really a good, well-played ball game by both teams. And West Branch, they had their number one running back injured in the first quarter, I think. He came back, but he wasn't the same runner then. They still played tough. West Branch is tough. They just don't have what Regina's got.
Ward played a great game, both quarterback and free safety.
Yeah. Mark Ward, the Regina quarterback, this is the only year he has started at that position. He's had to play behind Nate Streb and Verducci.
Yeah.
And he's got 1 year to prove himself, and he may be the best out of all 3 of them. He not only does he
I
have
feel
a
he is.
live arm, this kid can throw
And on target.
deep.
And he can run with the ball, too.
And he can run. That's the other.
That's, I think, the difference. When he runs at that ball, he is so elusive. He follows his blockers in such a way that it's virtually impossible for the first line of defense to get at him. He's too elusive.
Have you seen Regina this year?
Haven't seen him.
Okay.
So now this Friday, Maquoketa Valley comes to town.
Are
And
you
I
going
looked
this
it up.
Friday?
Do you know where it is? Have you looked it up?
I didn't.
They are in Delhi.
Well, not in
Well,
between.
right.
Well, they are up by McCook.
Oh,
Yeah.
Maquoketa's way over by
Delhi,
the Quad
Maquoketa.
Cities.
It's,
Oh, no.
it's not Maquoketa Valley. Maquoketa Valley's in Maquoketa. This is just called Maquoketa Delhi. That they combined
Wait.
together.
No, it isn't.
Well, it's listed
No.
as McCook
It's Maquoketa Valley.
Yeah, Maquoketa
Yeah.
Valley.
Yeah.
And the Dale Hyde's not mentioned in there?
No.
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 Now, what I read, it is.
Maquoketa, the town, is between Davenport and Dubuque.
I know we're in Maquoketa.
Maquoketa Valley is off Highway 20 between, between Waterloo and Dubuque, but it's still a long way from Maquoketa. They have 3 common opponents with this year. Maquoketa Valley has a 10-1 record and lost, I believe, in the 4th week of the season to, who did I say? Alburnett. They lost 21-14 to Alburnett. I've got it written down here. On September 21st. The next week, September 28th, Regina played Alburnett and won 54-20. Maquoketa Valley beat Wilton on October 29th, just Monday, 48-20. Regina beat Wilton on October 5th, 50-18. So virtually the same score, just a 4-point difference. Then, finally, Maquoketa Valley beat Tipton on October 12th, 45-14. Regina beat Tipton 2 weeks later on October 24th, 42-7. So again, virtually the same scores, the only difference being the Alburnett game. Alburnett beat Maquoketa Valley in Alburnett, and it was a big upset. Big upset.
Did you get any about their quarterback?
About Maquoketa Valley? Let's see. Ryan Parmalee is the running back who had 169 yards for them against Wilton.
Pretty good.
Let's see here. I had some more information. And that's Wilton is coached by Lance Peterson, Butch's son, who gave Maquoketa Valley a lot of credit and said they do a lot of nice things. Their tailback is a very nice player, and they had some nice
Who's
tackle.
their coach?
Lance Peterson is the Wilton coach.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing about that Wilton-Maquoketa Valley game. Again, Maquoketa Valley won the game 48-20. At halftime, the score was 21-20. Maquoketa up. So it was quite a battle.
Well, when you did these comparing of these scores,
Yeah,
Maquoketa Valley, it's only got 1 loss.
right. Alburnett.
Yeah.
And that team, Regina beat 54-20.
Yeah, I remember.
Where are they ranked?
I think Maquoketa Valley is ranked 4th. I was really having a hard time finding that information last night. In fact, this finding was ratings, not rankings. And the ratings said Regina is ranked number 2 to Emmitsburg, who's also undefeated. And that's where Maquoketa Valley was rated 4th.
They wouldn't play Emmitsburg till the
To the
championship.
championship. That's right.
Either Emmitsburg or Council Bluffs, St. Albert.
Right. Let's see here.
Do they give any credit to Regina coach?
Well, this is just information on Wilton and Maquoketa Valley. So no.
Everybody does. He deserves it.
Oh,
And his staff.
His staff.
You talking about
really
Marv?
have to-
Yeah. One of the things that usually appears to be the case to me is Regina's bigger and stronger than most everybody they play, which is probably due to Alex Canellis' strength and conditioning
You
program.
better believe it. Sure.
Incidentally, Regina footnote to the Iowa game, I don't know if you noticed, but Jake Risen played on every kickoff.
No.
Number 41. Brad Rogers was hurt,
Yep.
didn't play at all.
Again.
And if they actually went to a double set fullback, which they didn't, he appeared to be running number 2 behind Jonathan Gim.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned
And he
this.
played as one of those second or third backs, the whole game. Every time Northwestern kicked off, he was on the field.
You see so much at a football game, and I'd really
Well,
love to sit with you one
I didn't
time.
even know that either.
Yeah.
I think your
Now, is this-
ability to see is
Is this the
uncanny.
kid that got cut from Iowa State?
No, he went to
He didn't-
Iowa right away
Right
as a
away,
walk-on.
Yeah, and we had him on the show after this.
Yeah.
Was it the first state title they won? And he was a beast when he ran with the ball in high school. Jake Wright. They really don't have a beast like that this year. They've just got very elusive runners and
A lot of speed.
a lot of speed.
A lot of speed. Yeah.
And good line. Dixon
I haven't
and
seen a
Ward.
guy faster than Dixon.
Now, the paper says Dixon's was seen wearing a boot. Did he get hurt?
Bud's laughing about it.
Let's put it this way, I bet he's out there Friday night.
That's a really nice way to put it. And we'll look forward to
Right.
Is it?
They got good
It's
doctors.
Riley Dixon?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a heck of a runner. Speedy as can
He's
be.
a heck of a kid, a real good kid and everything.
Yeah.
But,
Did you go to the City High and transfer to Regina?
well, that's what Mike said today, and I don't remember
I don't
that.
think so. But
I don't either.
what does Mike
Because he's
Gates know?
played.
It was Mike Dayton's
What does he know about Regina?
I don't think he did, but there's a couple that did in basketball,
Oh, for basketball?
but I don't remember
They want to play.
football.
Yeah. Well, big
No,
game
they're
Fridays.
Back. They went they're back already because they weren't playing.
And it's, believe it or not, it's time to switch to basketball. And that's just what the Hawkeye men's and women's teams will be doing on Sunday afternoon.
It's hard to believe that's here.
Wow. We have a double exhibition games, back-to-back double exhibition game on Sunday afternoon. Quincy University, formerly known as Quincy College, from Quincy, Illinois, will be in town to play both the men and the women. The men are up first at 1 o'clock. We're going to have to hustle out of St. Mary's to get there on time.
Go to 7:30.
Well, that's no problem for me, but dragging my mom and my kids. So the men play at 1 o'clock and the women play at 3:30. Neither game will be on TV, but KXIC radio will have both games.
The whole Iowa network will have it, won't they?
Correct.
Yeah.
Like you said, Pat, it's really hard to believe it's upon us already. I'm really looking forward to it on both counts. The men have 5 new players.
Who's going to start?
I'm told Gasell is the new point guard, plain and simple, and he will be for the next 4 years.
Fran keeps saying that, but he also, every time he says that, he says Anthony Clemens is going to play a lot.
He'll see his
at
time.
the point, and he'll have them on the floor together at sometimes.
Which is exciting.
It is. Yep.
We haven't seen, none of us here have seen either one of them play except on TV if we're lucky. And
Where's Clemens from?
Lansing, Michigan.
and then you got the Ingram kid from Indianapolis.
What happened to Michigan State on Clemens?
I just don't think he was one of their
Top.
2 or 3. I mean, you can really. It's rare that
Right.
you recruit as many kids as Iowa did this year. It's rare that you do that
Right.
in a basketball program that has been as good as Michigan State. You're usually trying to recruit 2 or 3 a
Yep.
year, and I just don't think that Izzo wanted a point guard.
That's right.
Okay.
This kid's good.
I'd take a teammate of his.
I think you're right.
I don't remember his name or a big.
They won the
kid.
state championship in Michigan
Yeah.
for their class size. And the other kid's an even better player.
I think it's going to be interesting. I asked you who was going to start. I think Fran has suddenly gone from not having enough players to where by midseason he's going to have some grumpy players because they can't all play.
That's right.
If he's going to get down to even a 10, 9, or 8-man rotation, somebody's going to be on that bench who isn't going to be happy.
And they've only got one senior on the team,
Yeah.
in Eric May.
Well, he's got a walk-on senior too.
Well,
but
I'd start the redhead from.
He starts.
yeah.
Aaron White.
There's no question. He'll start.
He'll start.
But-
Marble will start. It's going to be.
But when you get to McCabe and Basabi, and Woodbury will start.
Yeah.
What about the guy from London?
Olaseni.
Yeah.
Senni.
I don't think he'll start.
No.
But
Yeah,
I
They
think
said he's really improved.
Fran's counting on him for frontline backup.
It's going to be a lot of fun watching this team play this year. And you get your first opportunity Sunday at 1 p.m. No TV.
Both of the coaches that I've heard are really proud of their starting five or the team.
Well, and they have some depth.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I think you'll see, I don't know if he'll start or not, but Zach McCabe, who I think is a real battler and just almost gave his life at times trying to play center.
That's right.
Very well put, Pat.
I think they'll move him out because now you've got Woodbury and Olashini and Basabe. So I assume he'll play 4 or even 3. I don't know if he'll start or not.
However, if you're going to have a real good team, you need 9 good players.
8 or 9.
8 or 9.
Well, they've got 8 or 9 good players. They really do. And maybe more. We can't forget about the Meyer kid from Georgia.
I think he's a very likely redshirt candidate. In this exhibition game, they don't have to make that decision.
That's right.
They can,
They don't?
No, we can see Utah in the exhibition game.
They can all play. I don't know about Utah.
No, he can play. He played in the last Sunday. They had Creighton in town for a private scrimmage. And the reports I got, number one, were that Marble dominated. They didn't keep score.
Somebody did. You could be. They weren't supposed to, but you can be sure somebody was keeping score.
Yeah.
How did you get a ticket for that?
I didn't. There was no
I know
ticket.
you did.
There was no ticket. There was nobody
I
allowed
happened
in.
to stand next to Regina's basketball coach, Randy.
Yeah.
He was mad because he didn't get a ticket. And I should have lied to him.
Poor
I said,
Randy.
I got in. It was a pretty good game.
You have said it.
No, that's funny.
Fran brought a degree of secrecy that we hadn't seen before. I mean, immediately he closed practices.
Oh, okay.
When they're in the arena, even, they have at the top of the aisles tubs and signs, and they have signs on all the doors that say practice. And of course, when he gets in the practice facility over in that new part now, they have all these fancy electronic locks, and if you don't have one of those things around your neck that you slide under it, you don't get any place.
Wow.
I can't see anything wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. Because today, if somebody sitting up at row 40 sees Zach McCabe turn an ankle, then it's on the internet that night. And
Well, the internet said that Devin Marble dominated the game, that Woodbury really wasn't a factor offensively, that Basabe looked careless and not into it, which we're kind of getting used to, that Gasell excelled, and what else did I read?
You know, if he looks not interested this year, he'll be sitting.
Yeah, he'll be the first one to sit.
The first 2 years, we needed him even with a bad attitude.
Yep.
He's got to play hard.
He's got competition now for playing time. Serious competition.
Who's this?
Basabe.
Basabe. Yeah, Melson Basabe. It's going to be an exciting season one way or another, and there's going to be some fallout.
When he wants to.
Yeah.
He's talented.
When he wants to, he can play good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're a better team if he's playing decent basketball.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what Eric May can do with a healthy body his senior year. If you think back to his freshman year when he was healthy, he opened a lot of eyes.
He's a
senior. He's the only scholarship senior on the team. This kid could leap out of the
gym. He made a
gym.
basket for the high school team.
Yeah, won the championship.
Yeah, he sure did.
But he was standing out of bounds. He had his heel on the out
Is
of
that
bounds.
right?
Yeah.
Oops.
Refs didn't see it.
Oops. Oh, well.
We had that. Which Iowa player was out?
Bobby Hansen.
Oh, okay.
First game, right? First game at Carver Hawkeye.
I thought it was Garfield.
I don't know.
Okay.
But it was a tremendous shot.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was.
Whether he was out of bounds or not.
And then we got to talk about the women. We have the Iowa women's expert talk about somebody with connections. Pat White knows Iowa women's basketball. And we all got to hear Coach Lisa Bluter speak on Monday at the Monday morning quarterback luncheon. And as usual, she was entertaining and
She does nice job.
enlightening. Oh, she's great. I just love her. And
She had the right dessert.
had tapioca.
She knows tapioca.
The women also have a game with Quincy on Sunday at 3:30, and they've got a bunch of new players.
You know, we also have a men, women doubleheader
Friday.
a week
from Friday.
A week from Friday,
Yep.
the 9th.
The night before
The day before
Purdue
the
game.
Purdue game.
Yeah.
They don't
that?
play the same team, but they
Right.
play at the same time. The women play Northern Illinois, and
Men play North.
no,
It's not Northern Illinois. It's
in fact, the men I think play this Monday night. Or
the men play Texas Pan American
is that Friday?
on Friday the 9th,
All right.
and that's at 8 p.m.
Women play
The
at
women play at
5:30.
5:30. Let's see. Do the men play
And-
Monday? No.
Must be.
No.
That women's game is part of the so-called preseason NIT.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
And beat Northern Illinois, which I think is now coached by Kathy Bennett, Dick Bennett's daughter.
Oh, really? Former Wisconsin coach.
Yeah. If they win that game on Friday, then they play on Sunday, also in Carver, against the winner of the Illinois State Moorhead State game.
Oh, okay.
And this tournament, which has must be 16 teams, runs fairly quickly, and the third and then championship game are within a week after that. And they haven't decided where those would be. They'll see who wins, and it'll be on somebody's home court, so it could even be in Iowa City.
Well, let's talk about the new recruit who committed to Lisa Bluter this week, or was it last week? Logansport, Indiana.
Actually, a week ago Saturday. She's it's interesting, and I mean I should confess that my family I have gotten to know them. We have vacationed in Sarasota for 27 years, and there's always been a fairly strong Logansport presence at my vacation site.
Really?
And a few years ago, a guy who's been my next door neighbor in Sarasota, we're only there a couple of weeks, but he was in the Logansport school system, and he introduced me to this family, which had very little at that point.
What's her name?
Her name is Whitney Jennings. She's hasn't played yet in her junior year. This is part of what makes this unusual. Lisa offered her a scholarship the summer between her freshman and sophomore year. She had not played as a sophomore when Lisa offered her a scholarship. She has made several trips here, and she was here for the Penn State game with her and sat through Lisa's practice and actually committed that evening before she came to the game. Last year as a sophomore, she averaged 25.8 points a game. She has already, although hasn't played yet as a junior, is in the top 20 twice for assists. She's on a very short list projected to be candidates for Miss Indiana basketball, which goes senior, so she's a year away from that.
This is not a small school team, Logansport.
5'5", point guard.
Little girl, big school.
If you want to see her, her first game of the year is the 6th, which is Wednesday? Tuesday?
Election day. You should
No,
know that.
the 6th is Tuesday. You're right. Sorry, bud.
Election day.
There's a website that televises some of the Logansport games.
Yeah?
The website is WALTON webcasting.com. And they'll have that game on live if you want to see her play.
I want to see her.
And they'll have several during the year.
WaltonWebcasting.com.
Now, Lisa said, in fact, I think she said here that she
5
was
minutes.
hoping to recruit 4 players for this class. And so now she's got a commitment from 1 and has 3 to go. And as a prediction rather than any knowledge, but if I had to guess, I would guess there's a player over on the east side of town that she is looking at fairly closely. Haley Lorenzen will be a junior this year for City High, Al's daughter.
Al's daughter.
Is that
Alan
right?
Karen's daughter, who's now about 6'3".
Sophomore?
She'll be a junior this year. She started some as a freshman, which is unusual for a Class 4A team. Didn't start every game that year, played a lot as a freshman, and last year as a sophomore, but she's continued to grow. I saw her on my way to the first football game, and my first reaction was, I know her mother, who worked for me as a law.
Really?
Yeah, Karen was a law student intern for me. Karen's a lawyer in town. And my first reaction was, who the heck is Karen with? And it was her daughter.
Is that
She's
right?
continued to grow. I think she's now about 6'3".
Does she play volleyball as well?
I don't know that.
I think she does.
Well, that's the name rings a bell.
City High's girls just made the state tournament.
Yes, congratulations to City High. That's something to cheer about. That's a big deal. They knocked off West High. And then who'd they knock off last night?
Burlington.
Burlington.
But Lisa also has 2 recruits who will sign in the next few days. Signing day is,
Seniors this
I
year.
think, Wednesday.
High school.
So it's not just girls, but it's the same signing date for winter sports. Comes up on Wednesday, and Lisa will sign, at least the expectation is, she'll sign Allie Diesterhoff from Iowa City, who will be a senior at West, and Alexa Lunica, or I don't have that last name.
From Minnesota?
No, from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh, really?
She goes by Lexi, Lexi. I think her first name is Alexa, and I think Lunica is pretty close to her last name. She plays somewhere in Lincoln.
What position is she?
She's a guard.
Okay.
Both she and Allie are either small forwards or off guards.
Allie Disterhoff's a heck of a player.
She is, and she works harder. I
Perpetual
told
motion.
Lisa from watching her play, she won't recruit anybody who'll work any harder than Allie. Just never stops.
Looking forward to seeing her in a hockey uniform. So are those the only 2?
Yeah, she's only got, again, expectation at this point is only 2. Now, she has 5 new players this year, 4 freshmen and 1 junior college transfer, which is what's going to give her some depth.
Oh, that's exciting.
I saw them practice Saturday last, and new recruits Nicole Smith, who had a knee repair, is playing pretty well. She'll be a backup center, and she'll push some people around. We'll have depth on the underneath the basket the way we haven't had before. And
Jamie Printy, how's she looking?
well, she looked pretty good. It's an amazing story because she just had surgery in February. But is talking as though she'll be in the starting lineup, which is pretty amazing. Now, I've heard Lisa say that they're going to use Jamie as one of their fallback players. They've always basically crashed 3, had 2 drop back to cut off the fast break, and they're going to try to set Jamie up to fall back rather than crash the boards.
How tall is she?
Jamie's probably 5'11".
5'11". Okay. And Morgan Johnson, how are her
Better, I think.
knees?
I think better. I mean, she's still got the tendinitis, but I think a change that was made in their strength and conditioning program has benefited her.
Good. We talked about that before, and that's good for everybody.
Virginia Johnson.
I think she's the best center in the league, Morgan is.
And we're going to miss her when
And she
she's
is,
done.
she's just a delight. I think this will be the last basketball she plays. Oh, she's as talented
Is
as
she
she
going into
is.
med school?
Yeah.
Iowa med school?
Well, she's still working at that. She's recently took her so-called MCATs, and decision as to where she'll be admitted and where she goes is probably going to be made in the next few months.
Smart young
She
woman.
wants to be a pediatrician. She'll be a good one. 'Cause
Yeah.
she'll be good at whatever she does.
Yeah, and we're going to miss her when
She'll be
she's
a
gone.
tall pediatrician.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right.
She
Jamal?
one of the things about Morgan is she loves her height. A lot of girls are a little shy about being so tall. Morgan is not. She just loves it.
Well, we're not shy about giving our opinion. Unfortunately, we're shy on time. We've got to wrap this show up, this edition of Sports Opinion, and we've been very fortunate to have Pat White here with us to talk about Hawkeye football in person on the road. Are you going to Indiana?
No. We just one out-of-town game.
Yeah. And we'll be at the Hawkeye men's and women's games on Sunday afternoon. Hope you are too. We'll be at the Regina game Friday night, and hope you are too. Should be a humdinger. And I just want to say thank you for watching on behalf of Pat White and Bud and Earl and myself. We appreciate you watching every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. and every Sunday night at 6 p.m. right here on Channel 18. Happy Halloween to everybody, and remember this, either you're a Hawk or you're not. Go Hawk. Thanks for watching.